First at noon, the search continues on Kauai for a young man who was swept into the ocean while fishing with a friend yesterday. Crews were back out in the water today looking for 19-year-old Matthew Packard Asai. We're told a wave knocked Packard Asai and his friend into the water at around 12:15 yesterday afternoon near Kahili Beach in Kilauea, also known as Rock Quarries. The other teen made it out with cuts to their leg, but Packard Asai disappeared. Here's video of the area where he was last seen. Now, this is on the north side of the bay, a rocky ledge, especially dangerous during a north swell. County lifeguards, firefighters, and the Coast Guard have teamed up for the search. We're going to pass along any updates as we get them. On Capitol Hill, Senate Democrats voted to block legislation to fund the Department of Homeland Security today as they demand changes to the administration's immigration enforcement policies. But talks are underway to try to avoid another government shutdown. Erica Brown has more.
At a cabinet meeting Thursday, President Trump expressed hope a deal can be reached with Democrats who want immigration enforcement reforms to avoid a partial government shutdown.
I think we're getting close. The Democrats, I don't believe, want to see it either. So we'll work in a very bipartisan way. I believe not to have a shutdown. We don't want a shutdown.
In the wake of the shooting deaths of 2 U.S. citizens by federal agents this month in Minneapolis, Senate Democrats blocked legislation Thursday to fund several agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees ICE.
The motion is not agreed to.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer outlined 3 key demands to reform the agency.
First, end the roving patrols. Second, enforce accountability. Third, masks off, body cameras on.
A possible solution under discussion is the Senate removing funding for the Department of Homeland Security from the massive spending package in order to pass the other 5 funding measures. Then the Senate could approve temporary funding for DHS while negotiations continue about changes to ICE. Even if they're able to separate out DHS funding, Democrats may have a tough time getting Republican support for their ICE demands.
This idea that we're going to go forward and not support ICE and not fund ICE is the craziest thing in the world.
Any changes to the legislation will have to go back to the House for approval. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Here at home, growing support to create a new law clarifying that it is legal to record police officers as long as you don't interfere with their duties. Now, it's actually already legal, but some lawmakers want to add new protections after the chaos in Minnesota. Ben Gutierrez has the details.
One of the tools that anti-ICE protesters have been using on the continental U.S. is the camera app on a smartphone. The measure makes it clear that the public would be able to use that app to record law enforcement here in Hawaii. The measure comes as ICE is under pressure for the shooting deaths of U.S. citizens Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minneapolis, incidents recorded by numerous people, including Preddy, before he was taken down.
It is completely timely considering some of the scenes we've seen from the continent.
State Senator Carl Rhodes has introduced the measure in the past and again this year. It's winning support in the Senate's Public Safety and Military Affairs Committee.
What this does is it puts a statutory right on the books to clear up any confusion about this, to make sure that officers are in notice that this is a right of the public to record them when they're carrying out their duties.
That needs to be established. It's often misunderstood and leads to serious rights violation. It needs to be distinguished as a right and a First Amendment protected activity. It should already be protected.
Governor Josh Green is one of the supporters.
We do have to protect people, and I think eyes on the scene are good. We have a lot of ways to communicate now. So I think if you're with your neighbor or your family member, you can definitely be documenting what's going on.
But the Maui and Honolulu police departments are on record against it. MPD says it respects the public's existing right to record officers in public settings, and officers already wear body cameras and are subject to extensive documentation.
They're overseen by and held accountable by our internal affairs section, our police commission, of course the courts, and there's also federal oversight.
And in written testimony, HPD said the bill may cause confusion because it addresses activity already allowed by existing constitutional law. HPD also says it is strongly opposed to having its tactics and training recorded.
And in an age where cell phones are ubiquitous, they just need to get over the fact that there's somebody going to be taping them no matter where they are.
Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
Now to renewed debate over changing traffic laws after a woman flew out of the bed of a truck and died on the H1 freeway. Ali Duklo reports.
Tuesday afternoon here along the H1 freeway in Aiea. Honolulu police say a 27-year-old woman was sitting in the bed of a pickup truck when it was rear-ended, causing her to fly out. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Bills to ban sitting in the bed of a truck have failed in the past, but lawmakers are willing to revisit the issue.
The struggle of people trying to hold to identity and the placeness of Hawaii, but then also trying to balance the reality of where we're living at now.
A long debated balance between culture and consequences, now resurfacing after Tuesday's fatality on the freeway.
It's sad because, again, as we're trying to curb traffic deaths across the state, another death is one too many.
It was Oahu's 5th traffic fatality of the year. Now, State Representative Darius Kila, who chairs the House Transportation Committee, is open to reviewing laws for riding in the back of a truck.
But I think it could be argued and said, riding on the back of a truck in a rural area on a one-way road is different riding on the back of a truck of a highway with 5 lanes and the speed limit being 55 miles an hour.
Kila says an outright ban on riding in the back may be too restrictive and not practical for rural communities. But he's willing to consider regulations for busy highways and the roads with speed limits that exceed 45 miles an hour.
I think that's where you have to find the balance.
There were 4 other passengers in the truck that got hit, and it's unclear whether there were enough seats inside. But not having enough seats would be the only reason why a rider would be allowed in the bed of a truck under state law. Riders must also sit on the floor of the bed, and they have to be older than 12. And the tailgate must be closed.
We've taken the law to mandate people use seat belts. We have airbags, but yet you jump in an open bed of a truck. There's no protection. There's, you can't hang on. It's just a nightmare waiting to happen.
Retired Honolulu Police Deputy Chief John McCarthy also supports a rule change and says enforcement would be easy.
The officers see somebody in a bed of a truck and pull them over, they're cited. It's that plain and simple.
The others in the truck and the driver who hit them were taken to the hospital in good and serious condition. The investigation is still ongoing, but police say speed, drugs, or alcohol do not appear to be factors in the crash at this time. A'ali'i Duklo, Hawaii News Now.
Here's a live look outside, taking a look towards the leeward side of Oahu. Earlier yesterday, we were seeing a lot of haze and fog in the sky. Still seeing some light fog out over the leeward side of Oahu this morning and this afternoon. Let's take a look at our exclusive fog forecast. This is courtesy of our friends over at UH Manoa. You're only going to find this on air here at Hawaii News Now. You can see the fog sticking around as we're going into this afternoon, but we've got a weak front that's going to be moving in, which should help clear up the atmosphere slightly and kind of slowly. So let's just take a look at that front that's going to be moving in as we're going into Friday and Saturday. You can take a look. We're going to start to see that front moving in closer to Kauai as we're going into late tonight, starting to bring a better chance for windward showers as we're going into early Friday morning. It moves down the island chain as we're going into Saturday. I'll give you a full breakdown of the hour-by-hour forecast coming up.
Thank you, Drew. State lawmakers are taking new steps to find the mystery legislator connected to a federal bribery case. Both chambers now have plans to try to identify that person. Lynn Kawano explains why they want to take matters into their own hands.
The Senate and the House now have resolutions calling for their own investigations.
Will the House come to order?
Official requests for legislative hearings have been filed as momentum builds for action within the Capitol. In the Senate, Brenton Awa introduced the resolution.
I know the Attorney General is investigating, but I was like, who knows how long this is going to take.
For the House, Representative Kanani Souza filed a similar resolution Wednesday.
We have the power to self-police, and we should be doing that.
The resolutions are in line with a petition signed by more than 900 people asking lawmakers to find their colleague or former colleague who was part of a 2022 bribery investigation that landed 2 others in prison. The feds have said there was a third unidentified influential legislator who took $35,000 in a paper bag. Last week, the Attorney General reversed course and said she would launch a case to determine if state laws or campaign finance rules were broken.
I think a lot of the questions that people have mainly have to do with the fact, is this a sitting member of the legislature? Because if that is the case, they're currently doing work with us.
From the public's point of view, the longer this takes from the Attorney General to release the information they have, the more it's going to look like something's being covered up.
The next step for the resolutions, they have to be assigned to committees. No word on when that'll happen. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
New at noon, the State Department of Education broke ground today on a new regional kitchen facility in Whitmore Village that will feed students at multiple Central Oahu schools. Governor Josh Green and other leaders spoke at the event for the centralized kitchen in Wahiawa. Officials say they expect to begin serving meals in the Lelehua, Mililani, Waialua complex area in the fall of 2027. The regional kitchen aims to modernize school meal preparation and use locally sourced ingredients. On the Big Island, residents who live near the Kilauea caldera are still cleaning up the mess left after episode 41 of the eruption. The disaster response group Team Rubicon has volunteers working to see how they can help residents clear massive amounts of tephra from their roofs and other areas. They made assessments at several homes in Volcano Village yesterday. And residents in need of cleanup supplies got some help from the American Red Cross this morning at the Cooper Center in Volcano. Cleanup kits with protective clothing and N95 masks were handed out for those doing their own tephra and ash cleanup. 500-gallon water tanks were also placed at the center for residents in need of clean drinking water.
I'm Skyler Henry in Atlanta, where Fulton County officials say they are prepared for a legal fight after FBI agents seized hundreds of boxes of documents tied to the 2020 election. That's coming up on the CBS Evening News.
Also head on This Is Now. It'll cost riders more to take the Honolulu City bus. How much fares are going up and when? Get ready to pay more to ride the bus on Oahu. The Honolulu City Council has approved a plan to raise fares starting in July. A one-way trip paid in cash is going up 25 cents. Monthly passes are rising from $80 to $90, and an annual pass increases to $990. Many passengers testified against the increase, but the city says it's necessary because of rising operational and maintenance costs.
The bus is not optional. For many families, it is how they get to work. It's how they get to appointments and essential services. This is a need to have. The bus is a need to have, but the raises, the increases of the fares is not.
Not making these recommended adjustments will negatively impact the system and will result most likely in the services provided being altered in a negative way, routes, possibly even jobs.
The increases take effect July 1st. In Atlanta, FBI agents raided an election facility looking for ballots and other records from the 2020 election. Now, this is tied to President Trump's claim that he won Georgia that year, a claim Republican officials in the state have disputed. Skylar Henry reports.
FBI agents moved in and out of the Fulton County elections up Wednesday, executing a court-authorized search warrant. A FBI spokesperson did not provide any details about the search. The warrant cites possible violations of federal laws protecting election records and against procuring fraudulent votes. Democratic Georgia State Senator Josh McLaurin posted this video from inside the facility, raising alarms about what he says is a politically motivated operation.
I hope people realize how dangerous this is, that the President of the United States is ordering federal agencies to pursue his conspiracy theories.
A source familiar with the investigation tells CBS News it's in connection with the 2020 election, when Democrats narrowly won Georgia's Electoral College votes. At the time, Trump had a call with Georgia's top election official, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, pressuring him to, quote, find the votes to win the state.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
Trump has continued to claim the 2020 election was rigged since returning to the White House, vowing to investigate those involved.
It was a rigged election. Everybody now knows that. They found out. People will soon be prosecuted for what they did.
A narrative that has been repeatedly rejected by courts and election officials, including Raffensperger.
President Trump didn't win by hundreds of thousands of votes in Georgia, did he?
No, he did not.
County officials confirmed the FBI initially served a warrant to the Fulton County Election Office, but state law says that ballots and other 2020 election records are under seal by the Superior Court clerk, so agents had to seek a new warrant before being able to access those records. We should also point out that the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was here on the ground last night in an unprecedented move. The administration says that she was following, quote, taking action under President Trump's directive to secure election integrity. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Union City, Georgia.
And stick around. Coming up after the break, we've got your full first alert weather forecast. A couple of fronts and still some haze out there. The details are just ahead.
weather with Drew Davis.
All right, it's Thursday, everybody, almost to Aloha Friday. Here's a quick look at what we're tracking over the next couple of days. We're still seeing those two fronts in the weather models, one coming in late tonight into Friday, and another one that's going to be moving in on Monday. Still seeing some fog and haze in the skies. We also have a warning level swell that's going to be moving in on Friday. Already have a high surf advisory up for north and west facing shores. Let's just take a live look outside again. Not as much haze out there. Taking a look westward. 82 at the airport right now. Southwesterly winds around 10 miles per hour, introducing a lot of humidity and moisture into the atmosphere ahead of this next front, which again is going to be moving across the island chain going into Friday. Another one moves in as we're going into Monday and Tuesday. Another look at the local view out there. You can see this front moves in late tonight, moves over Kauai by the time we get to around midnight, 1, 2 a.m., moving down to Oahu earlier in the morning. Maybe some rainfall out there as you're driving into work. Seems like most of the rainfall is going to be over the windward side of the island. So if you're driving from Kaneohe or Kilauea into town, you'll likely see some rainfall in the thoroughfares along the Like or Pali. You can see also windward rainfall for Maui and Hawaii Island as we're going into Saturday morning. So we'll see trade winds for a short period of time on Saturday. Then once again, we're seeing that next front moving in. Southerly winds will return on Sunday ahead of Monday and Tuesday. High surf advisories up on north and west facing shores. This is going to get upgraded to a high surf warning. Just a quick look at the details. North facing shores around 12 to 16 feet. West facing shores around 8 to 12. Dropping out on south facing shores and still small out on east facing shores for this afternoon. Let's just get to your 7-day forecast, show you what's going on. There's a lot to talk about here, so we're gonna linger on this. Thursday, still sunny and hazy outside today. If you see any showers, they're gonna be short-lived, mostly in the afternoon, and it could be over some leeward and interior areas. Friday, we've got highlighted in red right now. Northeasterlies between 5 to 15 miles per hour, some showers, about a 30% chance for rainfall right now. 81 degrees, a quick blast of cooler weather. Sunday into Monday, that's when we're tracking this next front that's going to be moving in. You notice we've got the trade winds returning slightly behind the front, southerly winds as we're going into Saturday and Sunday. And Monday, southwesterlies between 15 to 25 miles per hour, introducing a lot of moisture into the atmosphere. Sunny conditions expected going into Tuesday and Wednesday.
Thank you, Drew. Still to come, Iolani School celebrates the opening of its brand new student center. Casey Lund takes us there in 2 minutes.
How's it, everybody? Aloha, I'm Billy V. Coming up today at 12:30, it's going to be Billy V Live. My guests are going to be the Ahudong sisters from the island of Kauai and also Dave Dunaway from the group Imua. Catch Billy V Live on the HNN streaming app, available on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire.
we're getting an inside look at Iolani School's newest campus landmark.
Casey Lund takes us there.
Aloha from Iolani School and the beautiful new Arriaga Student Campus Center. This is a really beautiful building, and the students are here and they're enjoying it. This is an important building and a really special space here on campus. I'm joined by Danny Schlag with us, Director of Communications for Iolani School. We've been here all day talking about this. Tell us a little bit about what this space represents for student life and really the community as well.
Yeah, really, this is the new Arriaga Student Center. It opened up last week, so we just now are welcoming all our students here. And really, it's a special place that was built in just, 18 months. And all of our students now have this special place to gather together, upper school, lower school. It's now a place where everyone can come together for a variety of reasons, events, functions, classes. And so it's just a really special place of connection.
Yeah, and I also want to talk about one really important part of this, and I know that was really intentional with the design, with the build, is the Student Health Center there. We took folks in there as well today.
Yeah, so the Student Health Center, you also see we're right in close proximity with the chapel here, and all of that was very intentional. Again, keeping that mindfulness in terms of we're at the heart of the campus here, and so whether it's taking care of our students and their health and well-being, providing them spaces to gather and socially, connect. It's really all about what it means to get together.
Yeah, awesome, and I love that. Talking about the whole wellness, mentally, physically, for these students. There's a lot of crazy things going on in the world. Danny Schlag with us, Director of Communications here at Iolani School. Thank you for showing us around. We talked to some of the students here, specifically a senior. It's his last semester here on campus. He said that he wasn't sure if this was going to be done in time for him to enjoy it, to go to classes here. Grateful it is, and he said it's really special to be able to share this with the younger classmates here on campus. Reporting at Iolani School, I'm Casey Lund for Hawaii News Now.
Just that outside shot, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that looks like a beautiful addition to campus. I gotta say, was that a gift shop we saw? That is so cool.
They need their swag.
Yeah. I wish I had a gift shop at my high school. All right, here's a quick look at our 7-day forecast. You can see we've got Friday, Sunday, and Monday all highlighted in red. Again, these fronts are going to move in pretty quickly. Seems like we've got a better chance for rainfall with this front that's going to be moving in on Monday, and a quick round of trade winds Friday into Saturday, but it's not going to last long. The next front moves in Sunday into Monday.
All right, sounds good. And thanks for watching This Is Now, everyone. You're going to have more news first at 4 right here on KHNL. We'll see you then.